So PMI has officially published the table of contents for the PMBOK 8th edition. Now the question is, when is the PMP exam changing, and by when the new PMBOK 8th edition will supersede the existing PMBOK 7th edition? What it means for you as a PMP exam aspirant? Let's find that out in this video. Now, very recently, PMI has published the full table of contents for the upcoming PMBOK 8th edition. It's available on the PMI website. We will delve deeper into it in a second. But now that officially PMI has made it public, it means for sure that the PMP exam will eventually get updated to reflect the new structure of the PMBOK 8th edition. So let's first have a look at the contents of the PMBOK 8th edition together, and then let's discuss when the PMP exam is about to change. Let's get going.
Right, so I'm on PMI's website, guys. So this is the link which you should access, pmi.org/standards/the PMBOK. Okay. Now, if you come to this page and if you scroll down, you will be able to see this new section which PMI has introduced, which talks about the new PMBOK guide, which is the 8th edition, and it says that it is coming soon, but it has not given a date, but we can make some estimates which we will see in due course as we move through the video. But for now, let's download the table of contents. Okay, right, so this is the table of contents, and that's the PMBOK guide 8th edition. And if you scroll down here, you will be able to see the table of contents. Okay, so basically it's the same way the PMBOK 6th or the 7th edition was split up, that this entire guide comes in two sections. The first section is the standard for project management, which you see here, and the next section is the actual guide, which is the guide to the project management body of knowledge, which is the basic PMBOK guide. So in terms of the overall, let's say, classification of this standard for project management and the PMBOK guide, nothing has changed. However, if you move through the contents, you will be able to see some subtle changes. Okay, so the preface is fine. There is the introduction to the standard of project management, characteristics of a project, operations and project management. That's the difference between business as usual and project management, relationship between program portfolio and project management. Everything was present in PMBOK 6th edition and the PMBOK 7th edition as well. A system for value delivery. This is definitely, I recall, was a part of PMBOK 7th edition. It has the project management principles. It comes with the project management mindset. It talks about the principles and the performance domains. Again, I don't expect that they will be talking something radical, guys. I think overall project management has not changed from PMBOK 6th edition to the 7th edition. So it is very unlikely that it will be something path breaking that PMI will be coming up as part of the overall project management principles, because you see that it is very sort of intuitive in terms of what kind of project management principles PMBOK is talking about. It is saying that, okay, adopt a holistic view. It is talking about focusing on value, embedding quality into process and deliverables, being accountable as a leader. Now, you don't need PMBOK to say to you that, look, being accountable as a leader is important for project management, right? It comes very naturally with the way you build your soft skills if you are a project manager. So moving forward, there are the project life cycles, delivery cadence. It was also part of PMBOK 7th edition, which I definitely remember. And in terms of the project management focus areas, nothing has changed in terms of the 5 phases through which PMBOK defines a project, which is starting from initiating, moving on to planning, executing, monitoring and controlling, and closing out a project. Okay, so the first part of the PMBOK guide, which is the standard of project management, has not changed much. But there are a few changes in the second part of the PMBOK, which is the actual guide to the project management body of knowledge, right? So it starts with explaining the structure of PMBOK, relationship to PMI standards. Now this is where there is a change. Now if you remember that at the very beginning, when PMBOK 6th and the 7th edition came out, the first performance domain was integration management. Okay. Now here what has happened is PMI has replaced integration management with governance performance domain. Now nothing is wrong in that. However, I really don't like this idea of putting governance performance domain at the very beginning, because governance is anyways built into an entire project lifecycle from the beginning to the end. Okay. However, what integration management did really well was helping us to understand how the different process elements, or let's say the performance domains, interacted with each other. Okay, so let's say change management, let's say defining a project charter. Okay, so those kind of stuff. Let's say directing and managing project work, or let's say managing project knowledge. So these were really good sort of integration management process elements, which is now probably would be missing from the first part of the performance domain, which is now governance. Okay, but anyways, it is what it is. So the scope performance domain remains the same, nothing has changed. We have the schedule performance domain. The cost performance domain has been renamed as finance. I don't know why they did it. It means the same thing essentially. Anyways, moving on, we have the stakeholders performance domain, we have the resources performance domain, and we have the risk performance domain. Now, categorically, if you see, PMI has eliminated the quality performance domain. It has eliminated the procurement performance domain, and it has eliminated the communications performance domain. Okay. Now, when I say eliminated, if you search through this document of I was doing a search before I was about to record this video. So let's say quality. Okay, so you will be able to see quality. However, it is now embedded in the project management principles. Okay, it is, and that's the only bit of quality that you have at the moment within the entire PMBOK. So they have moved it from the performance domain side and put it into as a bedrock principle for processes and deliverables, starting from initiation to closeout. Okay, which makes sense, but it didn't need PMBOK 7th edition to be changed to PMBOK 8th edition to reflect that. But anyways, okay. So let's talk about procurement. And if I talk about procurement, you will see that the entire procurement performance domain has now been moved into Appendix X4. Okay. I don't know what was the necessity to do that, but again, it is PMI's standard. They can do whatever they wish, and we have to sort of be in line with those changes. So procurement performance domain is now part of an appendix. Okay, but the most important thing which I was not happy about that, so if you search communication, there is basically nothing, literally nothing that comes up as part of the search results within the entire table of contents. Now that sort of worries me a bit, guys, because communication was part of a performance domain in PMBOK 6th edition. It was definitely present in the PMBOK 7th edition. Now they have removed it from the PMBOK 8th edition. However, communication, as per my experience of more than 15 years in project management, is one of the very key and foundational aspects of project, and one of the critical reasons why projects fail, because communication is not managed properly within the project team and also within the stakeholders. Now, I don't know where they will cover the entire communication management aspect of project management within PMBOK 8th edition, but at least from the table of contents, it is nowhere visible. However, having said that, please keep in mind, guys, that communication management is a very critical aspect of project management, and whether the PMBOK 8th edition talks about it or not, you should not take it otherwise, and should understand in the right spirit of project management that communication is a key for any successful project. Okay, fine. So let's move back to the performance domains. So we have the stakeholders performance domain, we have the resources performance domain, and we have the risks performance domain as it was for the PMBOK 6th and the 7th edition. There is a section of tailoring which is there. It was also present in the PMBOK 6th and the 7th edition, so nothing new with that. Inputs and outputs and ITTO charts, the same charts which are daunting, most used and abused by PMI, which I think if you have gone through my YouTube videos, you will be able to understand how to learn these ITTOs as part of your preparation for the PMP exam. Now, new section which PMI has added as part of this PMBOK 8th edition is this section on artificial intelligence. Okay, so everyone is talking about artificial intelligence and PMI didn't want to be left out, right? So there is a new section of artificial intelligence for project management. It's part of an appendix which was not present in the PMBOK 6th or the 7th edition. So that's a new addition to the PMBOK 8th edition, and that's where the table of contents overall ends, right? And it summarizes the changes to the PMBOK 8th edition, which when the actual book comes out, we will be able to see that whether whatever we have discussed falls in line with whatever PMBOK has put as part of this 8th edition in the new revised standard.
Right. So to summarize, I would say that 90% of the contents of the PMBOK 6th edition and the 7th edition is carried forward to the PMBOK 8th edition. The only 10% that has changed are the new sections on artificial intelligence, removing the communications performance domain, and replacing the integration management performance domain with the governance performance domain. Also, the procurement performance domain is now pushed back as an appendix rather than being one of the key performance domains in the previous editions. So I would say, guys, that it's a bit of an old wine in a new bottle, okay? The PMBOK guide surely was up for revision since it has been now in effect for the last 4-5 years, but that didn't necessarily mean that it needed the revision mandatorily right now, okay? So what PMI, in my opinion, has done here is just revise the standard for the sake of it without making it more meaningful for project managers. Now, anyways, the million-dollar question is, when would the PMP exam get revised to reflect this new standard? So here are the timelines, okay? Now, don't quote me because these are as per my opinion and my assessment of being in this industry for more than 6 years. Please try to appreciate that I am providing this to you as a guidance rather than a mandate. So here is how I think this would play out, okay? The PMBOK 8th edition will be out within January to March of FY 2026. And following that, there would be a minimum of 4 to 6 months window before the PMP exam actually gets revised, okay? So for example, if the PMBOK 8th edition came out in March 2026, then the PMP exam syllabus will transition from an examination content outline standpoint to the new format by around August 2026. This is exactly how it happened when the PMBOK 6th edition transitioned to the PMBOK 7th edition. The 7th edition came out in August 2021 and the PMP exam itself got revised from January 2022. So there is always a generous 4 to 6 months of cutoff time between updating of the PMBOK and revision of the PMP exam based on the new PMBOK. And there is no particular reason to believe that PMI would wish to break that pattern now. So as a PMP exam candidate, your goal now would be to buckle up and start preparing for the PMP exam as soon as possible and get it cleared over the next 6 to 9 months, ensuring that the exam still is in its 7th edition over the next 6 to 9 months. Because I'll tell you what, the moment the exam transitions to the new version, there will be a lot of uncertainty around it. Now, of course, I will be revising my PMP exam study materials on Udemy in line with the PMBOK 8th edition when it comes out, but that definitely will take some time, right? So please start preparing for your PMP exam from today. You can check out my PMP exam preparation courses on Udemy. All of them are very highly rated amongst the students, and many PMP aspirants have passed the PMP exam with the help of these courses. I look forward to welcome you in the class. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon in the next video.